everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last build we went sci-fi when we built Asajj Ventress's lightsaber. Now if you missed that build, we'll include the link to our channel's homepage in the description below, and you can go and check out Ventress lightsaber or any of the other builds we have on the site. But for this build we're going to go video game. So without further ado, Black Sheep Props would like to introduce you to the newest member of the family. Check that out, the World of Warcraft Night Elf Glaive. That's right, pow, look at that thing. Very cool. We've got these tapered blades, we've got all these little recesses, we've got all the squared off angles on all the edges like the style of the illustrations are. Very cool stuff. So in this episode, making an EVA foam Night Elf Glaive part 1, we're going to begin going step by step through how to make this little baby. And if you want to build along, we have a template too. So we're going to include the link to the storefront in the description below, and you can go and pick up a template if you want and build along. So I'm going to shut my trap. If you're ready to hit it, let's make something. All right, so there's all of our templates transferred over to foam for our build, and we've got several different thicknesses. We've got as thin as 3mm over here all the way up to 24mm, and we've got everything in between. We've got 12mm, 6mm, some more 6, some more 24, and a 12. And like we talk about, you'll always use a lot of different thicknesses of foam, and sometimes you won't have all of the thicknesses you want, so you might have to take thinner foam like 2s, 3s, and 4mm and stack them up, glue them together to get the thickness you need. So that's it. Really simple build. That should be absolutely no problem. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these pieces and we're going to knock them out on the bandsaw, and we could totally do this with either an X-Acto knife or a box cutter, but because we have a bandsaw, we're just going to zip it out through there. So we're going to do all of our straight edges on the bandsaw on all of our little pieces. And remember, never move your fingers toward the blade. Always keep your hands outside of the path of the blade, so as you're pushing through, you're never in danger. All right, there you go. Check that out. Nice. Now again, we're going to say it again. You could totally hit this with a box cutter or an X-Acto knife. All right, there we go. We've got everything cut out on the bandsaw, our straight edges. It's really nice and super easy. Now we're going to come in with this piece, which has straight edges as well, but we need to cut this with an X-Acto knife, and we'll show you why. Because we need to cut this center section out first, then we're going to attach it down and cut the outside. So for the first part of this, we're going to use our X-Acto knife. We're going to go corner to corner with our X-Acto. All right, just like that. We're going to seal the back of this foam just to get it tight and smooth. Give it a couple minutes before we make contact. Press it. All right, there we go. Look at that. Nice little recess down in there. Perfect. All right, now we're going to give this a couple minutes to set up, and then we're going to cut the outside of this on the bandsaw. Okay, now back to these pieces. What we're going to do is we are going to cut this center section out with our X-Acto knife. And we're standing it up, so we're using the smallest part of the tip of the blade. And this is kind of like you've turned your X-Acto knife into a scroll saw this way. Ooh, look at that nice little circle. We'll keep that for later on for something else. There you go. Got the outside cut with a bandsaw. We got the inside with an X-Acto knife. Sweet. And now if you notice, there's when you're running something through the bandsaw, sometimes around the bottom edge you get a little bit of a fray. So what we like to do is we like to come in with our X-Acto knife and just go just like that all the way around, and we just slice off our little frays. Perfect. All right, there we go. Nice. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to cut out this little 12 millimeter, it's a 1/2 inch circle. All right, there we go. Look at that, beautiful. Nice 90-degree cut, and like we said, you could use an X-Acto knife and just pivot around your piece. But since we have a bandsaw, we're making our life easier. All right, now we're gonna go and we're gonna knock this out on the bandsaw. But what we wanna do is we don't want a straight 90-degree cut. We want our cut all the way around a little bit on an inner angle like that. We're gonna tip our table just a little bit, so we're cutting on an angle. Now again, this is something you could totally do with a box cutter. You could totally come in with your box cutter and you could do every cut, but instead of having your knife straight up, you could have your knife slightly leaning on a little bit of an angle. So when you cut all the way around on an angle like this, when you're done, you'll have a nice high piece that's got tapered edges. So you can totally do that with your box cutter, no problem. Okay, now what we did was we tipped our table just a little bit. Actually, let's cut some of this excess off so we're not handling so much foam. Wow, look at that. We've got the nice little recess down in here. We've got the square edges all the way around, and check that out. It tapers down all the way around. Look at that. Boy, oh boy, if you can swing a bandsaw, man, you'll use it all the time. But, nice. All right, now we're gonna bring in this piece that we cut earlier. And this line on here indicates where we wanna shave off like a bevel all the way around. And we talked about how you could achieve this with a box cutter just by, instead of your knife being straight, tipping it and going all the way around. Now we're gonna show you that to be true here. Now, very simple stuff. So you're gonna come in and go right through. Let's go all the way around to all of our marks. Just like that. See that? Now, look at that cool beveled edge around there. That is really cool. All right, now what we're gonna do is we wanna just knock off part of this front edge on a bevel. So we're going to tip our bandsaw table and we're gonna just shave a nice bevel off all the way around. All right, look at that. Look at that nice little edge, the nice little bevel around the whole piece. Wow. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get out our wood burner and we're gonna burn these designs into our foam. Okay, now we have our wood burner and it's been heating up, so it is super hot. So man, watch out for that thing. And because this is burning plastic, we don't want to be breathing this in. So if you're going to be wood burning, make sure you're wearing some sort of a mask and make sure you're in a pretty big area that's well ventilated. I'm in a big garage with a shop fan off to the side, so it blows the fumes away from my face. So then fumes are not going up my nose, but just to be careful, I wear this anyway. And then when I'm done wood burning and things like that, I'll open the garage just to air it out. So be safe. Okay, now this is really easy. We're gonna come in with our straight edge. All right, see that? So we burn that line in there, right there. Now we're gonna come over to this side and we're going to line up right where the tip goes. And we're gonna go right through to this line. See that? Nice. Now we're just gonna go all the way around. All right, there we go. Check that out. Nice and easy. We just took our time. We went tip to tip. Now you gotta be careful with this, and let me show you why. Because if you come in with your wood burner
and you hold it in one place for too long, it burns a big old hole. And if you pull it fast, it burns a very shallow hole. So what you have to do when you're cutting through foam with a wood burner is you have to go in and go at a consistent speed, do the next line at a consistent speed, hit the corner at a consistent speed. Every place you're attaching a corner to a corner, you gotta carefully hit it and start moving. Hit it and start moving, because you don't want to hit it and hold it there, because then it'll burn a big hole right there. So it takes a little practice. You might want to practice on a little, piece of foam off to the side, but you'll get it and you'll get it fast. Look at that. All right, now we're going to start doing these. All right. Piece of cake. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, now what we're going to do is we can see some of the bandsaw lines around the edge of here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our 220 sanding stick and we're going to get rid of that. See that? Just like that. That's it. That's just enough to get rid of it. All right, there we go. Beautiful. That's smooth. And now we're going to come in. All right, look at that. That is a beautiful looking little piece right there. Smooth all the way around. The foam tightens up. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this piece back in that we did earlier. And we're going to get out our Dremel and we're going to lightly Dremel the edge. There we go. Just enough for a slight rounded edge. Now what we're going to do is we also want a slight rounded edge here so that there's a little bit of an indent there. So whenever we Dremel or sanding stick, we like to tighten it up afterwards because we've created raw foam. Ooh, sweet. Look at that. That's going to go right in there like that. Look at how cool that looks. Wow. So we're going to come in, make a Sharpie line so we know where we're going to contact cement. Perfect. All right, there you go. Give it a few minutes before we make contact. All right, now it's time. We're going to come in, we're going to line this up where we made our mark. All right, there we go. Perfect. Make a mark here and here so we know it's going to line right up perfectly, and there we go. Give it a few minutes. Just like that on our Sharpie line, but we're not going to stick it down yet. We're going to line it up, and then we're going to come around to the other side and make sure that we're getting it right where we want it. Just like that. Look at that. Perfect. And that's how the actual artwork for this is. It's very angular and it has a lot of squared off edges. Very cool style, and we're mimicking that style right here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and do this top piece. It's going to sit right on here like that, and this is going to go on the inside. But what we want to do first is this. We're going to get our dust mask on and we're going to do some Dremeling. We're going to Dremel the inside edge of this because we want it to kind of drop over a little bit to have a round inside. And this one, we're going to Dremel the heck out of. We're going to completely round it off. Nice. All right, there we go. Let's get it on the end of our X-Acto so we can take a look. Look at that. That is nice and rounded off. See that? Dust everywhere. Use your dust mask. Don't be a dum-dum. Be safe. So our marks line up right there, so we know when we stick it down it's going to work. Perfect. All three pieces, give it a few minutes, and then bam, contact. And we're going to stick it down. We're going to come around to this side and make sure we're in the right spot all the way around, and we are. Let's turn it around, get some pressure on it. Wow, that is cool. All right, now we've got our last piece we're gonna do. We're gonna take this 3mm piece, we're gonna cut a hole out, then we're gonna contact cement it down to this 24-inch piece, so we've got the thickness we want and a little recessed area here, and then we're gonna bevel the end and shape it. So we're gonna come in with our X-Acto knife and follow our curve around. We can cut all the way out the end like that. All right, there we go, beautiful. Give it a few minutes, let it dry, then we'll stick it. All right, there we go, check it out. We've got the two pieces of foam stuck together, so we've got the thickness we want, we've got the little recessed top. Now we messed up a little bit. We should have drawn a Sharpie line in here and not contact cemented in this area. Just in this area is where we should have done it, but it's not the end of the world. Once we seal it with Plastidip, you really won't see that. So there we go. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this over to the bandsaw and we're gonna cut this piece out. Now comes the crazy part. Now we're gonna come in with our Dremel and we're gonna taper all the sides right up to this line right here. So we're gonna have to curve it here too. So what we're gonna do is we want this blade to kind of go sort of like this. Just like that. That's how. Box cutter for this. Let's go right through here and right through here. All right, there we go. Perfect. That's what we wanted, just like that. Okay, time to get our dust mask on. Good grief, look at that. That's why you wear your dust mask. All right, check that out. Wow. That is. All right, now we're gonna come over to this side. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Good grief. But good grief to that. Check that out. Look at that tapered. Ooh, comes up to a point right there. That is nice. Let's come in with our 220. Gonna get out our heat gun. Beautiful. Wow, love this. All right, there we go. Look at that. Holy smokes. Look at that, how it comes up to a peak. Nice. All right, now we just got to do that 2 more times. Look at that. Very nice. And we did it 3 times. That produced a mountainous amount of dust. So never Dremel without your dust mask. So there we go. All right, here we go. Now we're going to begin the process of assembling this thing. 2 straight sides, 2 straight sides, and 2 straight sides. All right, there we go. That's what. If that goes in there, that means that's about right there on each one. Give it a few minutes and then bam, contact. There we go, just like that. I'm gonna make contact against the center part there. Looks like we've got it. And the base. All right, time for the next one. All right, time for the third and final blade. All right, we could actually, just to give us a little extra, we didn't go up high enough with the contact cement, so we're going to come in here. We're going to get some super glue in there. We're going to hold it there while it bonds. That is so cool. Wow. And golly, this was easy. Man, super easy. Let's get a couple of those little flyaway little spider webs of contact cement. When you're flinging the contact cement around and you're flinging that brush around, a lot of times you get these little thin little spider web sort of things. Just get them off of there. All right, there you go. Wow. Nuts. All right. Okay, now with that last detail, that brings the build portion of our World of Warcraft glaive to a close.
All right, there it was. Super easy build. Most of the work was really kind of on the front end, measuring, and all the dremeling we did to taper off these blades. But super easy. You could totally do this. And I really liked all the square edges on everything. The style that they did the illustrations in was nice to mimic that. Cool. So that concludes making an EVA foam Night Elf Glaive Part 1. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.